Sorry, I really love my countdown music.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Netters Network Thursday Things. I have a very special guest waiting in the green room, but before we get to our special guest, let me introduce to you my co-host for the night. You know him as the love of my life, that guy at the end of the bar, Troy Pacelli. How you doing tonight, sweetie, and what are you sipping on?
I'm doing well. I'm double fisting it tonight because I'm finishing off a Rockstar energy drink to kind of tamp down a headache. And then I'm switching to caffeine-free A&W Diet Root Beer.
Okay, we have a bunch of people in the chat I want to say hello to, so let me get started with that. We have
First,
Lady Mist.
Yep.
At 5:56 p.m. She's been waiting a long time.
Well, she couldn't be here any sooner because that's when I got the stream up.
And then right after that is Connie Clary at 8:43. She's saying it's a tired blogger raid. Thank you,
You guys
sweetie.
are wonderful.
There's that last call guy.
Right?
You know.
I'm a call guy?
You're my call guy.
Okay. Call me anytime.
There's that Netters girl, saying hi to that Troy guy.
I love you too, Netter.
Deleted scenes with his salute.
Salute.
And saying to like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Scroll down. I'm trying not to let my chat jump.
Yeah.
Darkwood Presents saying hello to everybody. Dun, dun, dun. Dad Man Walking 55. How you doing, sweetie? And I think that gets me to the bottom. So awesome. And I know more people will stroll in as the evening goes on. Gotta say my hello, sweetie, in my chat. There we go. Now, tonight's guest has been on before, and he's one of my favorites. I absolutely love his shows. I mean, he's fantastic. I don't even have the words to describe my fantastic guest. So I'm just going to bring him in here so you can just meet him in all of his awesomeness. Cultue Casino, how you doing, sweetie? And how are you doing tonight? What are you sipping on?
Water. I'm sick, so
yeah.
I picked up the Christmas crud, so yeah, water, tea, things that fix my throat. I don't know, cyanide, who knows, something.
Gosh.
No,
okay,
but
you have to try my go-to for whenever I got the ick. You can get I usually use just like a pasta jar or a canning jar. Put in alternate slices of sliced lemon. So you're going to take a lemon, slice it, into slices, and then cut those into fourths, and put like a layer of that. Then candied ginger or ginger root, the next layer, again small pieces, and keep alternating the slices till you get to near the top of the jar. Fill the whole thing with honey. If you can let it sit for a couple of hours, that's the best. If not, you need to use it right away. It'll still work. But I find that after like a second cup of tea with like a tablespoon or so of this in there, I feel so much better.
Yeah, I felt like you were going to say like vodka instead of
that would have been my recommendation, but yeah.
No, that sounds delicious and likely something that would definitely help. I know much about ginger root as for its medicinal properties. But yeah, I just this thing came on. It had already been through the boss's family. Some of the people in my family had it, and I was just the lucky person to pick it up just when they were done with it, as Troy would have said. So
yeah,
it's not wasted on anyone. Let's just put it that way. But no, I was telling a story when I got here. I increased my scale of dumb today exponentially because I decided I was going to do the thing I love, which is being on YouTube with everybody. And so I did a number of shows, and it just kept getting worse. So we're at marginally better worse because I took like a 4-hour break from talking, but still, it's not great.
If you cannot last the hour,
no, I will be here. I will be here. I will be here the whole hour, but the Autobots may have to roll out, like I said before. So
I was going to make a Barry White joke, but then I realized actually you got more of a Lou Rawls going on.
Lou Rawls. Yeah. Look, if somebody were to call me Satchmo, I'd feel better about that.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's that'd be Louis Armstrong for those of you who are unfamiliar. Incredible horn player plus a great vocalist. So Ricola, yeah.
Falls and Ricola, yeah.
Ricola, yeah.
I find that my go-to remedy, I mean, for one thing, a lot of people are into all natural these days, and so it is all natural, and they're also really easy ingredients to get. So it's like it's honey, lemon, and ginger. I prefer candied ginger when I make mine, but not every place carries it. So sometimes you can get it at the Asian store, sometimes it's your regular like Jewel or Meyer or whatever. But lately I've been having a hard time finding it. So ginger root works just as well.
I like Seagram's. It's an easy sale.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, you say Seagram's, I'm going for the golden wine cooler.
Yeah. Okay, no, I'm no. Booze and illness don't go well together, and my grandpa's.
You want to sleep.
It does. My grandpa's solution for an earache was to puff a bunch of cigar smoke in my ear.
I remember somebody saying that. Okay. I think that's bogus, but they used to believe that.
No, but it honestly does work.
All out and go, no, too much smoke.
Well, no, it actually. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say it actually does soothe your ear canal. It's very strange.
Oh well, sure, because it's gonna draw out that whatever the rod is and dry it out. Darkwood Presents says, I watch stuff with Culture Casino all the time. I should hope so. That is why Netter is dropping the links. Not only, and I would ask that all of you that aren't already subscribed to him on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to him on YouTube, but also make sure you follow him on Twitter and Rumble and Odysee and Minds. As we go into 2025, I am really pushing alternate platforms. Anything can happen on this platform. So you want to be able to follow your favorite streamers wherever they are.
And really, that's Wade Nation Jamie says Culture is awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And Wade's great too. So following your Wade's a good follow. We've got this is great because I think I know almost everybody here. So
yeah, it's a and sometimes I stop and I ask, hey, how did you start following me? Oh, well, I was following this, that, and the other, saw you in the chat and whatever. And it's kind of cool because there is that kind of cross-pollination. When I talk about community, that's kind of what we're kind of getting at, and I really love it. But I wasn't, I wasn't just blowing smoke. I wasn't just blowing smoke. When I said that we want to see what I did there. When I was saying I want to push the other platforms. I think most of the folks here know you from YouTube, and a little bit from X, Twitter, whatever you call it these days.
Yeah.
What about the other platforms? Minds. What is it?
Getter.
I didn't have an address for you for Getter, but
Threads.
Rumble,
Odysee. Odysee, not so much anymore. It's so hard to produce content and release it over there now.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't able to direct live stream to them anymore for some reason, and they could never figure it out. So I think the last thing I put up there might have been 18 months ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's my fault for not changing my social tree. But regardless,
what about Minds? I don't know that one too well.
Minds is great. It's a non-centralized or decentralized platform. Early on in its development period, if you know who Ian Crossland is from Tim Pool's show,
yes,
he was part of the development team for that. But I like it because it's decentralized, but also at the same time, it can carry the same kind of information. So, like when I stream, I stream to I stream to X. I think you can carry the stream on Mines. I don't think I stream directly to Mines, but you can. So I've been considering doing that too. So with the streaming system that I use, the streaming web process, the EVMux, I think I can stream to 5 separate streams simultaneously live.
Another reason why I want to switch to Mux in EVMux,
Yeah.
EVMux in 2023.
Yeah.
25. Jeez, what year is this?
Yeah, I've been having trouble with it too, let me tell you. But no, I'm on Mines. I post to Mines and to Getter and to X every single day. I do stream live to X every day, and Rumble. Rumble, I think, is probably the up and coming platform for video, and I think it'll be very competitive. So
yeah, and Sasha says I'm not on YouTube as often as I used to because I'm being bombarded by ads.
Yeah,
I get that.
If YouTube Premium is too expensive, you should consider Rumble or using the Brave browser to watch YouTube, because it will reduce some of that peskiness.
On this platform, I'm not going to talk too much about ads and those issues, but
well, ads pay the bills. So,
but if you are going to, well, for them, I don't really the amount of money we get as the content creators doing the work doesn't really filter that well. But he's absolutely right. Rumble. I don't know what the ads are like there. I haven't been consuming too much over there, but the cost for the premium service is much more reasonable.
Absolutely. And for those of you saying that Culture sounds sick, yes, he's not feeling well. He's losing his voice, and he had really been pushing it today, so it's kind of hanging on there by a thread.
Yeah, I went exponentially worse for fun, I guess. I don't know. But it's okay. I wanted to be here today, and FKHC 2005.
Whom we lovingly know as Tim.
But like I said, I just I wasn't going to miss it for the world, and I sounded way worse on Mr. H's show towards the end, so it's fine.
Yeah, so I try to make fun of me because when I start to lose my voice, I start to sound like Mickey Mouse. And then as it goes on a little bit more, I end up sounding like Jessica Rabbit.
I'm like, if you could bottle that stage of it, that would be awesome. That'd
be pretty good.
Kathleen Turner kind of.
Yeah, so I like this too. Yeah. I'm not bad. I'm just chilling that way.
Exactly.
Okay. I love that. But no.
Right?
I know it's not like Gentlemen did not appreciate Jessica Rabbit. She was a redhead too.
Yep, exactly right. It's very true. I'd hate to see how Disney's going to recast her in the live action version.
I'm so sick and tired of live action, guys. Oh man. Did you guys? No, I was going to ask what have you seen any of the recent live action ones?
No, I haven't. In fact, on tomorrow's stream, Boomer and I are going to be doing our wins and fails of 2024 and what we're looking forward to in 2025. And my wins are a list of films that I think are great that they are in the top 10. But my fail is related to the cinema experience because not one of those movies did I actually go to the theater to see myself.
Oh, wow.
Like, for example, Netter and I saw Denis Villeneuve's Dune on opening day. When the second one came out, I said, I'll just wait till it comes out on Blu-ray.
Get digital, Blu-ray. Yeah.
I mean, I am a big, physical media kind of guy, but between the pandemic, yeah, exactly.
All of this.
Exactly.
We own over 1,000 movies.
Upper left-hand corner there, that's all Doctor Who, original Doctor Who.
It looks like it.
Yeah. But the between the pandemic and that was a big one. It just killed our momentum. And I've become such a homebody now. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying that's something I shouldn't try to get over, but you know, it is what it is. But after your video today, and by the way, everybody go check out his video about the I don't know what you'd call it. Was it a trailer? It was actually they released the song.
They called it a special look
At the song or whatever from the new song from Snow Off White, and it's getting ratioed into oblivion as you would expect. I went and I made a comment there, and I'm like, Disney, how can we blow as much money as possible and really, really sink this company? Idea. Let's do another live action remake of our, greatest groundbreaking animated feature, throw in all kinds of DEI, and then refilm it 3 and 4 times because that multiplies how much money we waste on it.
Yes, I want to go back to this comment. Deb Maniwake says, Culture, please pass our greetings from the Mrs. 2 to Culture Boss, and hope she gets well soon as well.
Well, it was her family got it. She's the only one I think that's truly avoided it, but I'm not sure it'll last much longer. She's pressing on though. The office is squared away, so I think and she has a tendency not to get sick. Something going around, she never gets it. She's bulletproof. She's amazing.
Oh, she's lucky.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that you're right. This special look, the song that they're doing is to replace "Wishing at the Well," because this snow almond lady is not wishing for her prince. She's not waiting for her prince to come.
Yeah.
And so this is the replacement for that garbage. And the wishing well is a different significance to this Snow White. And to basically all Snow Whites. This is a neo-Marxist leader with a last name White.
Yeah, I get that. I'm really see. This is the only reason I even care about what's going on over at the Daily Wire, because I'm like, I was really counting on that.
Brad Cooper led Snow White.
Yeah, and everyone's saying, well, it's still going to happen. It's in the can already, and I'm like, there's more going on than whether or not it's in the can or not. There could be some contractual things going on that we have no idea about. I don't know. It bothers me. I was really hoping, but I do feel that the message, as the drinker says, the message that they've been pushing for so long, the reason people are rejecting it is because it's not an aspirational message. It's not a positive message. It's one that makes people sad. I mean, when it was, I'm wishing, and the idea of happily ever after, that was something that people look forward to. That was happiness. That was joy. And there is no joy. You just gotta do what you gotta do and, fight against the patriarchy. And nobody wants that. Nobody's going to go pay to go see a movie like that.
Yeah, it's like, who wants such a depressing movie?
And you're not allowed to be happy. You're not allowed to, unless you want what they want, you're not allowed to want what you want and be happy about it. You gotta, I don't know. Maybe if she was, if she was waiting on a princess or something, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that would be the Disney version,
right?
But Snow White and the Evil Queen, from what I was to understand, was done shooting. So I'm not sure what's happening from there. I am checking with a couple of people that used to work at the Daily Wire what their understanding is, but everybody's living under a very powerful NDA. If you work for the Daily Wire, the NDA controls everything, basically.
And it could go that way too. Maybe if the NDA is executed, well enough and thoroughly enough, maybe it still comes out. Maybe that's exactly why, things are going the way they are. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Darkwood Presents says they're planning on releasing Snow White and the Evil Queen at the same time as Disney's debacle.
Well, that's what they said.
Disney is just pushing the release back.
A lot of things have changed since we last heard about that. So
let's see. I think we got that announcement in 2023.
Yep.
So that would have given them a whole year to shoot it. I think, hang on. With the March 21st release date, if they have anything left to do as far as post or anything like that, I think Daily Wire would be well ahead, and it's probably ready to go if it's done.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm optimistic, but I'm not certain. And I would love to see those movies compete head to head and to see which would win, because I think people probably want to see something a little bit more uplifting, as you suggested, Troy.
I am noticing that there is and I saw this for better or for worse with a lot of other movies that have come out. We're seeing it right now with Mufasa and Sonic, right?
Sonic, yeah.
I feel like there is a competition between similar films, and it's not even just on the merits. I think sometimes it's even, I want to send a message. I am going to take the money I would have spent on Mufasa and go give it to Sonic, and whatnot. Honestly, I did that when Alita came out. I said, I am not going to see, Captain Man-Hater. I'm going to see, Alita.
Alita was great. And in that film,
I love Alita.
that film deserves a sequel. One of the reasons that Robert Rodriguez came in to do Boba Fett was so that they would let him do Alita, because obviously that was a Fox Cameron property,
right?
And Disney had gained control over it. So, but yeah, so the scuttlebutt was that was the, you do one for me, I'll do one for you kind of thing. And
I had heard that at the time too. Do you think that the underperformance of Book of Boba Fett might have kind of thunk that or hurt his chances on that?
I don't believe you can hang that around his neck, because for one of the episodes, there was only a 19-page script, so you can't
you can't.
Whole
you and I can't hang that around his neck, but Disney can do whatever they want, or they could justify things however they want. I've seen them, accuse, well, it's so-and-so's fault that this failed. No, it's not. Well, that's what they say, and that's what they're going with. That's their story, But you'd have a better insight on that kind of stuff than I would.
You know what, with that one, I mean, like, there are certain studios that I do hear things from. There's certain shows specifically that I'll hear things from. I have not heard anything about that, and that kind of bums me out, because there are a couple of audience members in my chat, and probably here as well, that really love Alita, as Netter does. And I'm one of those people. I'm just such a huge fan of it. I was like, why are we not making more of these? There's a story here, and it's fun, and it gives you, a believable girl boss, right?
Yep.
And it was good.
I don't want to get tunnel vision on Alita, because I also can think of at least 10 other 20th Century Fox properties that Disney owns the rights to, and they are doing nothing with them.
Yeah, it's like, why are you not taking action on these properties that you own? You could be doing so much with this.
That could be a whole show in and of itself. Yeah.
Well, I look at the myopic casting that Disney's been doing, and they keep recycling actors and actresses into roles they certainly don't belong in. And I think Disney thought that this Rachel Zegler girl was going to be the new It girl, when to me it was clearly Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
And I think they picked wrong,
Yeah.
And they fall in love with good voices and a very odd eye placement on people's faces. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Darkwood Presents says what we've been saying for a while. There have always been good, strong female characters. Why do they keep saying they are the first ever?
Yeah, well, because they don't know anything that happened before they came on the scene.
Yeah.
It's a recurring theme. I'm noticing it. Remember how Jennifer Lawrence was the first ever action hero? Anyway,
I think that was a misstatement, but
I'm sure it was, but
orbital hypertelorism seems to be a thing in most Disney characters. If you look at the things that are animated in Pixar, if you notice that the eye placement's farther apart. But the orbital hypertelorism is the medical condition, and
yes,
that's why you end up with Halle Bailey playing Little Mermaid.
yeah,
It obviously Rachel Zegler. I mean, there are many actresses that they seem to cast that have that kind of distinct look. In the old days, we called that exotic looking. So yeah, but.
yeah, there's something to be said for the attractiveness of someone who's moderately novel. That's true.
Yeah.
But there is a very fine margin where if you go beyond it, people look and go, you look like Marty Feldman.
Wow. Yeah. I have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So in the original Snow White film,
yes,
the character was drawn indistinctly, right? There was a suggestion of a face.
Yes.
And many times, I mean, the characters that were there to draw your attention were the comic relief, were the dwarves, and the things that help tell the story. There's a mechanic in storytelling where the audience becomes basically the dwarves. So in Star Wars, I'll give you a suggestion there. You were living out these movies as the droids because you saw everything through the droid's eyes. You were R2 and C3PO. So there's that. So there's an element of storytelling that your narrators basically are those two characters. Same thing in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Sure.
Seven Dwarfs were there, kind of you kind of saw it from their perspective because they were a key mechanism in making the story be facilitated. Without the dwarves, you wouldn't have had the film. So, and that's how Disney redirected what these fairy tales were. These fairy tales were very tragic stories. I mean, the original Grimm fairy tales were not positive. They were just very solid, very aggressive moral tales. So same thing with Star Wars. That's why I brought it up. So when you look at something like that and why it's a classic and why that film specifically rescued the Disney company, because all the way back then in 1937 it did.
Yeah.
It was the first full-length animated feature film. I got a cough, so give me just a sec.
No, that's absolutely fair. I think it's ironic because it saved Disney back then. It might be the one that sinks it today.
That's
Culture was. Sorry,
go ahead. No, please continue.
I was going to say what you were saying about how they like the Grimm stories and all that were very dark, and they weren't the happy things that Disney is showing. There's another YouTuber that Troy and I watch. It's Messed Up Origins.
John Solo.
John Solo, yeah. And he will talk about this is what the story is actually about and how it got started and the whole background for it. And some of these are messed up.
People don't realize that fairy tales were not really originally intended for children. They were more adult fare that they would feed to children as they saw fit. They were absolutely morality tales. And even the ones with the happy endings were brutal. I mean, just look at Cinderella. It's basically the same story. She still gets the prince at the end. She gets her happy ending. But what happens to the
sisters,
to the step family, is not good.
No, and then even simple ones like Hansel and Gretel, they push the witch into the oven.
Oh yeah. Well, that's even how I remember hearing it. So yeah. But then the themes of literally cannibalism and things like that. I mean,
and people being mutilated.
Absolutely.
Like in Cinderella, the stepsisters actually cut their toes off to try and fit inside the glass slipper.
Yeah. Oh, I think the worst was what's it? Little Red Riding Hood. Some of the implications, well, we can't even talk about on YouTube.
Yeah, I just got monetized, Tony. Let's not take
yeah,
that away.
I know exactly. But no, absolutely right. And but Disney built a family brand on that. They took those stories. They made them family tales. They made their parks a place for families, and
Yes.
now they've made it hostile to families.
Walt's motivation was his daughters. Okay.
Yeah.
So whether it be the storytelling and the animation, but also the theme parks. The theme parks, and the reason why you have princess stories is because he had daughters. So
right.
it's he still had boy stories. I mean, he retold Davy Crockett and a whole lot of other things, Daniel Boone. I mean, Disney wasn't afraid of telling boy stories. And when they got into the westerns and things like that, it was only when they fell out of fashion that the Disney company was just waiting for something else to arrive. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just there's a reason why Disney did what he did at every step, and it was because he was a based family man of faith, and it's why the company was what it was, which is why the fact that they're trying to push Walt out of Walt Disney is a real problem. So,
anyway. Real quick, I want to say hi to my my partner in crime, Aged Boomer, just popped his head in here. Buddy, you got to go back and listen to the rest of the show. We were talking about you earlier. We were talking about what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So get caught up, man. You late.
Put it on like triple speed and
listen to it. Triple speed. Listen to it. Yeah, Culture Casino will sound normal.
Might be true. Yeah, I don't know. I tell you what, I wasn't going to miss tonight for the world. So, yeah. Thank you. And hey, good to see a Geek Flag. Nate knows 1973. But yeah, we've got, man, I can't believe it's like a round robin of humanity that I get to hang out with on the regular. And I'm so grateful. It's one of the things that I know that behind the scenes, Troy and I have talked about before, but just how deep the fellowship goes and how many friends you make along the way. So I'm very appreciative, and I'm very thankful when I get to meet people in person. So if you ever show up at one of the meetups, be sure to find me. And
absolutely.
And just say who you are, introduce yourself, and just call me Culture. And trust me, I had somebody tell me they were nervous to meet me, and I'm like, I'm just me.
Yeah.
I'm everybody you meet at a meetup. You can walk up to Gary or Jeremy from G&G or Ryan or Drunk 3PO. You just walk up and tell them who you are, because they're just people. These are my friends, and believe me, they will consider you friend.
Netter and I have done a lot of we've talked about this on our channel before. We've done a lot of conventions. We've done a lot of security for conventions. We've done a lot of work directly with the celebrities at those conventions, mostly sci-fi and whatnot, the Star Trek people and whatnot. And it's really come, I think that nowadays, because celebrities have become so much more easily accessed through social media, I think people are starting to get the idea. But back then, we knew these are just other human beings that more people know of. You don't really know them, but you know of them, and they're familiar to you. But they're human beings, and you should probably treat them as such. There are some who think who the heck they are, that don't realize they're human beings, but they're the few and far between. I think that the average person is, whether they're an actor, a singer, talk show host, they are human beings who live lives, and that's just their job. That's just what they do.
Wow. What I always found amazing is, there are certain streams that I'll be in, and I'll, I always drop "Hi, sweetie." That's my thing. Everyone knows that I say "Hi, sweetie." That's just what I do. But I'll go to like someone's stream, and usually it's like, it could be like one of the bigger YouTubers, and it's like, I'll do like, whatever their name is, "Hi, sweetie," and then they're like, "Oh, Netter's just here." I'm like, Wait, they know me?
Yeah, exactly.
Like what? It's like they know who I am. So I guess my High Suite has become such a trademark for Netter's Network that people see High Suite and they just immediately associate it with me.
That's sweet.
And it's just like, cool. Yeah.
This is a great question that Nate has. Oh gosh, can you even dig into that culture? How much money do you think live action Snow White will lose?
All right, so let's start here. Right now, based on what I've heard, what I've seen, what I know for a fact, I think this movie will be close to $500 million in actual production cost. Right now, I think we're in the 420 to 435 range. I think that by the time it gets out, all the post has been done, and the A&P is done, the ads and print are done. I think we'll be sitting well in that $500 million plus range.
Yeah.
I think that based on other recent questionable expenditures and performances, there's a decent chance that after it's all said and done, they'll lose $250 to $350 million on it. Because, well, they won't be able to overcome. Well, consider this. I mean, yesterday I did a video. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I did a video about Snow White, right? Or was that today? I don't even know. I'm that sick. So,
yeah.
But talking about the fact that they released the spoiler, not spoiler, the special look that we were talking about
at the new song,
yeah, and that only had like, I don't know, I caught it like 5 hours in. There were like 18,000 views. It was already headed the wrong direction on dislike. Dislike engagement for Disney is usually pretty telling. So I have a feeling that this film will probably, in the United States, make an embarrassing like $100 to $120 million total. International will be a bit more. International, if you look at the averages, international for box office usually twice what America's side is as far as the pull goes for audience.
The math isn't there though; it's still not going to pull a profit.
So that's 300. Let's call it $320 million. So it won't pull a profit. It's nothing but a loss, and your bookings are for your theater rentals, or it's only about, you're only pulling about 50% of the box office. It's not going to perform well in China. Overall, yeah, I think we're $250 to $350 million in losses. There was no reason to put an extra dollar into this.
No,
they bet on a loser. All they had to do was look at the other previous performance of cinema for her before they decided to do reshoots on this. They should have released this on. They should have just cut their losses, released it on Disney Plus, and not reshot the entire movie again, and then go back for 2 different considerable reshoot periods, and then a recent pickups that was just done. So if you add all that together, it's crazy, because if they've already struck the sets and everything else has to be redone in the volume, you still have to set dress of volume so that it doesn't look like you're standing in front of a matte painting. So there's a lot to it. So when I look at that, I think no. I was just going to say, I think those are the numbers I would guess now, and I could be incredibly wrong. It could be far worse.
There is another dimension there that we have no way of knowing about. So really, none of us, I think, could talk on it. Actually, Valiant Renegade might have better insight. Him and Mexican Iron Man, they're real financial guys. But keeping in mind too that these movies are not financed with cash; they are financed with credit. And these movies have been pushed out, or this one has been pushed out so many times, they're incurring interest.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can't even know what that looks like right now. But in this market, it can't be good.
No, and consider this. I mean, the UK is in a similar financial position. If the financing mechanism was done in the UK, which is, likely where they did this, because that's where the LLC is that actually they hide behind. Film productions hide behind separate LLCs. Most people don't realize that. Um, but so this is another reason why we know what the finances look like on this film, is because they have to be fully transparent through Companies
Yeah.
House in the UK.
Yeah.
And so, and Caroline Reed is also pursuing this over there at Forbes. And I think the mainstream media realizes that the gig is up, so they can't carry the water for Disney anymore on this. And again, I'm not necessarily certain that the money that's pushing this up is finance money, because some private money comes in as well. You have to look at the production companies that are involved in a particular production to see who's actually all in. Running that down takes time, but it doesn't take a genius. Anybody here in the chat can look up all the production companies involved in this production and find out who's got money in the hat. I, I mean, it's when you go out to finance a commercial building, you do the same thing. But when you look at these kinds of productions, they're many layers deep, and and the financial losses, as you suggested, with interest and everything else, can be substantial. Now, just like if you're building a skyscraper or whatever on a large loan, you have a period of time where you're in the building cycle, and so you're not really incurring interest until you've received everything else, and you have approval to go live with your building or whatnot. That's when usually the interest triggers. But there's usually a makeup clause built into the contract when you borrow that money. Again, there's a lot of things that go into film finance that are a little bit different, but yeah.
Yeah, it's complicated stuff, but I'm just saying there's other things that make their potential losses potentially even more than we're calculating simple numbers. But I would not want to be.
Well, you also here's something else Valiant would tell you, and I know Mike would as well. The reason they do the production the way they do is they can write off a certain percentage of it in the UK. The problem is it's only of the stuff done in the UK, and it doesn't include the actors' salaries. Actors' salaries come off the front before they even do any of those calculations for what you're going to get back in the tax abatements or tax credits. So it's like I said, the numbers aren't as impressive as you think sometimes, because money's being spent in the US as well, including some post-processing for sure. So anyway.
And you also mentioned you didn't say, these are my words, not yours, but basically the liability of the star in this particular case. And I honestly am feeling like, as I look in general at Hollywood, it used to be that stars were a draw. If so-and-so was in this such and such movie, we're going to go see it because of that. And I don't think, not only do I think that's not the case anymore, I think it's more, this person is in it, so I am not going to see this movie now.
Yeah, and I would ask Netter, what actor or actress is going to drive you to go see a movie? What actor or actress do you believe can actually open a movie now because they have quote unquote star power?
Well, it used to be, Harrison Ford was in a movie, I'd go see Harrison Ford, but he's changed.
Yep.
So not so much anymore.
Not after Dial of Dysentery.
Yeah, and just other things that he has said and all that.
Well,
who's that actor? The one who keeps getting his dog killed.
Oh, John Wick.
John Wick.
What's his name? Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. I will go see anything Keanu Reeves is
in. Probably.
He's a really good actor. He has played the gambit from dumb
kid,
kid to the serious guy. Yeah. He's been, and
he's likable off screen the way that Hollywood celebrities used to be. Yes, exactly right.
So you guys just mentioned something, and I want the chat to get involved in this too. Wasn't it better when we didn't know so much about these people.
Yes, probably so. Yeah.
Because once I found out about certain actors and like just the way that they view things or the way that they treat staff behind the scenes, it's like, I don't think I want anything to do with these particular actors.
They say
like 007. I grew up with the 007 movies.
Oh yeah.
And when was it Timothy Dalton was playing 007 for the first time, they had this big article in some magazine, and I happened to be skimming through and I was reading it, and they're talking about how horrible he treated like the makeup people and all that stuff. Like he would bum cigarettes off of them, and they're like, you make like a gazillion times more money than we do, and you're taking our cigarettes when we make nothing, and just basically order them around like they were literally his servants and all this. It's like, okay, I don't want to see this movie or have anything to do with them because he doesn't treat people well.
Because you found out something about him,
Yeah. If I hadn't found that out, I probably would have gone to see the 007 movie. I might have even liked it. I still never saw it.
Had the same conversation about politicians too, where they say, "Oh, the rich, the rich, the rich." Yeah, well, we know how rich you are now, so don't,
Yeah, and Geek Flag with Nate gave a $5 super chat. There is no Earth in the multiverse where live no way makes money.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, no, it's 100% true. But I think it's even worse than that. It's because they tell you everything about themselves. They tell on themselves.
Yeah.
So, it's one of the reasons.
Want to know.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I think you see people like in trouble now, because they said, "Hey, ain't no party like a Diddy party," or similar things to that. I do not. Why are you associating yourself with that situation? That is not a good situation. And look, it's going to cause people to read into situations like I did. There was a halftime show on Christmas, right? With Beyonce Knowles.
Beyonce,
Yeah. She wore, and everybody on that stage wore all white outfits. It's already been disclosed that she's been to those white parties for Diddy along with her husband. And it's also been disclosed that they're allegedly, I'm going to say it that way because I like your channel and I like you guys. Allegedly, that they may have participated in something allegedly. So, were they, suggesting solidarity, or was she suggesting solidarity with Diddy because everybody on that stage was white? Now, that may be completely coincidental. It could have been a completely just a visual presentation thing that would look good under the lights in that particular number that they were performing, or because now people are going to associate it with that situation. It didn't take me hard. It took me no thought process to get there because of the visual that was being presented. So very strange.
Yeah.
All right, my friend, Netter, I'm sorry, I'm kind of cutting your show short, but we are getting to the 10-minute mark, and we did promise Culture a hard out for him, and he deserves it because he's suffered enough, for crying out loud.
Yes. And I do appreciate you being here, even though you're not feeling well. I will definitely have to have you back on when you're feeling better.
Of course. I owe you that much. I don't feel like you got to talk very much. I think Troy kind of took.
I did.
Runs with it.
She kind of told me in advance that she knew what we were going to be talking about. Go ahead and take it. But I will be almost completely absent next time you're on. I'll just be the Tom Connors in the background, making sure everything works right.
Hopefully,
what he doesn't get is that I don't mind it because my husband is very engaging. I know that.
Yeah.
And so it's like when he starts getting excited about stuff, it's like, go for it. I do not have an issue with it at all. It's like when I got something to say, I will say it.
You guys are very comfortable. That's really important. This was a great pleasure. I am sorry that we're cutting it short. I truly am.
No, it's not a problem at all.
That's fine. And by the same token, maybe I dominated the show. I also, as a result, we weren't as focused on the chat as we might otherwise have been. I hope you guys all understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And look, I'm just gonna say it this way. I'm still gonna do my show in the morning because I'm a diehard crazy person. So
one of these days, though, you're going to like record your voice into one of those little AI things so
no.
that you could just have it talk for you.
You guys know that when Grant was doing my editing, and I hope he comes back and does my editing again. I'm talking with him about it. But when he was doing that, he already did it. He already AI'd my voice. So if there ever is a need to replace me, Grant can do it. So
Do you know? Okay, I know I said we were wrapping up, but now I'm going to get into a quick story. Roger Ebert. He had I don't want to get too into it, but he had a medical condition that eventually ended up taking him from us, where ultimately it cost him his voice.
Yeah.
And they did the best they could to put together the equivalent of what Dr. Hawking had, a computer that speaks for him, using his own voice, because they had so much footage of him from years and years of his film reviews. It really wasn't there. It was just slightly better than the robotic voice that Dr. Hawking had.
Yeah.
But it did set the stage for people recording their voices, to the point that this is also why Majel Barrett Roddenberry had her voice recorded, so that she could perpetually be the voice of the computer in Star Trek. So those were some of the first, before we were even talking about things like AI or anything like that. You know?
I think it's really important for certain people that we have, references from their voice in case they have to redub a film or something like that. I don't like the idea that a character would exist in perpetuity,
I agree.
because I'm really not a fan of AI actors. So.
Mm-hmm. I think, and Boomer and I have had this talk many times. I think it's great for the de-aging, for the all that kind of stuff. If you're going to play a robot, if you're going to play a vampire, if you're going to play something that's not supposed to age, yeah, maybe you want to make use of those kinds of technologies. But there's also nothing wrong with recasting.
No.
Just saying.
And that's the thing. I mean, if anybody, and you guys were just talking about James Bond.
Yeah.
My throat's really tickling. But you were talking about James Bond. James Bond has been recast, many times. There are good Bonds and there are bad Bonds. And there, in my opinion, like George Lazenby was a really good Bond. He only got one shot, one bite at the apple. But my favorite Bond passed away not that long ago. And Sean Connery was the best Bond, but other people do like the other Bonds. I don't know anybody personally that likes Daniel Craig as Bond, but that's just me. But anyway,
I don't think I've seen any of his.
Let's cap this off. Yeah. You're on regular show tomorrow. You're planning?
Yeah, I'm still planning the 6-minute daily. I was gonna try to do because there's a great guest that I managed to get to agree to be on the Friday afternoon show after Friday Night Tights. I got Scribe Light to join me. He's just a brilliant mind.
Nice.
But chances are we won't do that show because I will be done. Literally. So hopefully he'll agree to be on the following Friday. I've got some other comic creators coming up.
Understood.
And I'm liking having the comic guys on. And then I've got a few other people, but Friday's a great interview show. And then, just the regular videos. I will not have a video first thing tomorrow, but I will have one eventually.
Understood. Again, everybody, make sure that you're following him not only on YouTube, but all the other links, Minds and Rumble, linked down below in the description. If anything ever happens to YouTube as a platform, or for any of us individually, you need to be connected to the alternate platforms as well.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow night, of course, Boomer and myself will be doing the annual talk about the year and what we're looking forward to. That's at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on my channel. And if you stay right where you're at, you'll be redirected over to Deleted Scenes channel for his weekend update, because he's got a lot going on and I can never keep it straight. So just find out directly from the horse's mouth. Not that I'm calling you a horse, just saying. And I say we let him go. I say we, yeah.
Don't forget to get some lemon, honey, and ginger, so you will feel
Get
better.
some good rest.
I've got a lemon tree right out in front of the house.
Oh, awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, it's my favorite go-to, and usually by the second cup of tea, I'm feeling human again, and my throat feels so much better, and it opens up like in here too. So you need that. My special guest next week will be a YouTuber named Ego. I've never had him on my channel before, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll get to learn about him and his channel. Any final words, Culture?
I had a great time. Thanks for having me. I will be back because I owe you more time and a better voice.
You're sweet.
Yeah. You are very sweet.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. You guys, you're some of my favorite people, so thank you.
Oh,
That's so nice. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm obviously delusional. I need to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly right. Yes, the last thing I want to say is not only is he nice, I've told Culture this directly. The highest compliment that I know to give somebody, I give to Culture Casino. He is kind.
Yes.
There are not enough kind people in this world. Culture Casino is absolutely one of them.
All right, so I need to start kicking more kittens or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Thank you very much. It's highly complimentary. But now, please, let's be done. So you're killing my reputation. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. That was my plan all along.
It's like I am biased. I do have my favorite YouTubers, and you are one of my absolute favorites.
Absolutely.
So thank you again for being here. And of course, you all know what I always say.
Yep.
We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping the comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. Hi, Sashi.
Yeah, hi, Sashi.
It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room. We're enjoying each other's company. We're having a great time. And you guys, you're not our friends. You're our family.
Yeah.
We love you guys and we appreciate you so very much. And you could be anywhere right now and you're here. And that's so encouraging. And I love seeing you guys in each of our streams pretty much every day of the week that we're streaming. I think the only day we don't have any streams is Wednesdays. So you get a day off from us.
Right.
But thank you for being here. Thank you for the many ways that you support us and our channels. And until next time, good night and